Good evening, Hillary.
Happy 2025. This is our first episode of the new year.
Wow, how lucky are we?
We're very lucky. Our very dedicated fans probably knows we took a little bit of a break.
What was the break due to?
It was due to busy lives getting not in the way, but they were a little bit of a distraction for a hot second. But We're back now, full force. 2025 is the year that we get to quit our jobs and become full-time podcasters.
There you go. Yep, the low production quality but high authenticity podcast is back.
It's back.
Yeah, for at least 1 to 2 more episodes. Should we introduce our guest?
Yeah.
All right.
Go for it. Take the lead.
Here we go. Here's my notes. This is the list of accolades that I came up today.
Came up or Googled?
Yeah, I could have Googled, but this is all from the old noggin.
Wow.
Here we go. Multi-generational, grape grower, rancher. I guess you could say cowboy. He has cows. Fire captain, farm bureau past president, auctioneer extraordinaire, rescue man when people get stuck in the mud.
We'll have to talk about that.
That was an interesting event. Family man. Did I miss anything?
I think that was pretty good.
Yeah. Welcome, Johnnie White.
Woo!
Thank you. From, the St. Helena Fire Department, Pena Vineyard Management. Then there's like a list of different, this guy has more jobs than both of us combined.
Yeah, you're very busy.
I get bored easily.
Yet your schedule was very open to record. That's why I was so impressed.
Well, everybody knows it's 9-1 Wine Podcast and then Joe Rogan Experience. So I'm just waiting for young Jamie to, call after this airs and, I'll book my trip down to Texas to get on the JRE.
That's exactly how this works.
I knew it.
I really think we're setting you up. So just remember, you got the 9-1 Wine bump. So,
yeah.
Welcome, Johnny.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Man, this is exciting because, you're like one of the most local hometown heroes we got. So,
and multifaceted.
Yeah.
A lot of lies.
What's your favorite job of all these things that you do? Like, what do you think your favorite thing is?
Ooh,
that's a big question.
My favorite thing, maybe family guy.
Cool.
Love being a dad, having kids.
Nice.
I think that's pretty fun, pretty special.
Yeah.
If it wasn't that, pretty big fan of raising cattle. Call myself a cattleman, not a cowboy.
There you go.
See, the cowboy works for the cattleman, so I aspire to be the cattleman. But right now, it's me shoveling shit and feeding cows and
working for the man.
And working for the man. But yeah, I don't know. I think I do it all because I like all of it for certain aspects of it, whether it's auctioneering or the fire department or, farming.
Nice.
I think my passion is farming and ranching.
Cool.
You're big in the nature, it sounds like.
Big into nature, yeah.
Yeah. You're damn good at it.
Stewarding the land.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
From all facets. So, nice.
What
log are we on, Hill?
So we're doing January 2024 because, it's January. This is getting released in January, and so I thought we could reflect back on the last year,
Perfect.
New Year's is about new beginnings, excitement, new resolutions. Am I selling it?
Sure.
Sold.
Why not? Is it sold to the auctioneer?
Yeah.
Are we all going to share our resolutions at the end of this?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Negative.
Just Pete's and Pits. Got
Oh, my God. Well, Johnny brought some awesome wine. So, Johnny, what'd you bring?
I brought some Mumm DVX sparkling wine because I'm man enough to say that I'm a big fan of sparkling, and that was in the fridge. So we'll start with some sparkling, and then I also brought a bottle of Bevan Cellars Sentinel Ridge Howell Mountain Cabernet Sauvignon, and that's a vineyard that's kind of near and dear because I developed it up on Howell Mountain, and then I farm it, and so
Nice.
excited to try it with you
Let's
guys.
do it. Well, here, while Hillary's finding her favorite
log,
I'll pour some.
I have a few, but this one, I wonder if it was you. At 9:30 p.m. on a Saturday night, an Hunt Avenue resident heard someone outside the window, but they didn't see anyone. Earlier in the day, someone had jiggled the doorknob. We're sure it wasn't the Amazon man.
Could have been.
He does some late night deliveries.
Johnny, what do you got?
Oh, I think I will start with the person asked for information about how to turn yourself in if you have a warrant. And mind you, this is at 21:59, so 10 o'clock at night. I think they might have had a few drinks, and they were probably just asking for a friend, but you never know.
That's epic.
But at 10 o'clock at night, our police station, is it open?
Yeah, it's 20. I mean, of course.
I mean, there's a dispatcher there.
No, I thought they were in Calistoga.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know.
So do you get penalized if you wait till morning because there was no access?
Oh,
I mean,
Obviously,
that's why they were calling and asking.
I know. I don't know how this turning yourself in works, but
I want to know.
I'll look into it.
Nice.
How about report of a man at 4 p.m. on a 2-day bender yelling profanity at his family on Grayson Avenue?
We've all been there. We've all been there.
I mean, it is the holiday season, so, and this was post-Christmas, so.
This was
With Friday, January 26, 12:05, report of a man with an accordion partially blocking the entrance to Safeway near Adams Street. An officer determined the man was playing for money on private property and was not blocking the entrance.
an accordion's an interesting
That's great. Man,
instrument of choice.
amazing.
Big fan.
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
So you are allowed to do that on private property.
Yes.
unless a
I guess.
private property owner trespasses you. I mean,
I guess.
So Safeway's
Maybe he owes
chill
a-
with
maybe
the
he owes a
live
cut.
music.
The
Yeah.
cut of the
Okay.
proceeds.
Okay, cool.
Well, good call with the Champs. I think everyone in Napa loves Champs. I don't think you're alone in this because we all drink way too much red wine.
yeah.
I drink primarily Bubbles.
That's your jam.
That's
Yeah.
my jam. I love it.
Do you guys farm part of Mumm too?
We farm some Chardonnay that goes to Mumm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess I want to jump right into your daytime job, Pina Vineyard Management.
All right.
Let's hear about it. You and your dad have been kind of founding members, or your dad at least founding members with Davey.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about the company and what you guys do and how much you farm. And it's a pretty
Yeah.
great company that does a lot of work in Napa.
Cool. Yeah. Pina Vineyard Management was started in 1960. It was started by John Pina Sr. in their kitchen. I've heard many stories about the telephone on the wall in the kitchen and his wife taking calls and writing notes down. This was before cell phones. It's kind of hard to imagine life before cell phones and having to come to a central spot. But every morning they would meet in the kitchen and they built this business. John Pina Jr. came back from college and started working with his dad, and then Davey Pina. And eventually my father came into the business, and we still run our business out of our kitchen. Our office has a commercial kitchen in it, and we meet in that kitchen every morning. The first rain every year, we cook breakfast for everybody because that's kind of signals that our season is done, that we're kind of done. So we do a big breakfast. So we did that last week or in November. Do a big breakfast. We farm about 1,000 acres. We farm for I think 70 different clients. So it's some big vineyards and some very small vineyards, everything in between. And then another side of our business is we have trucking. So we have a bunch of semis and do a bunch of agricultural hauling. And then we also do our custom side of the business, which we do vineyard development and redevelopment for other vineyard management companies, wineries, growers, people that we aren't farming for. So that's a big part of our business, and something that we're pretty well known for is our vineyard development, redevelopment.
Pretty much the only place to get a D6, 7, 8, or 9 in the valley is you guys. So
so we've really expanded on that.
Nice.
And it's
how many
it's
employees
fun.
do y'all have?
We run about 300 people during peak season, probably 150 year round.
Yep.
And we use some H2A also, and so it's a pretty good sized company. We keep a lot of people employed.
Yeah, you do. How has it been with labor in the last like year or two? Have you seen it get harder to get folks in for labor?
Yeah, labor. 5 years ago, labor was very challenging. It was very difficult for us to get labor. That's when we started using H2A. H2A is expensive, but it was a good option to bring in labor.
What is H2A?
Oh yeah.
H2A is a government program where we can recruit people from Mexico or any country to come and work here legally in the United States. The employer has to provide housing, transportation to and from Mexico, and then transportation and meals every day.
So it's like a travel nurse, but for vineyards.
Yeah.
Wow. Brilliant. It's basically it.
Spot on.
Okay. Got it.
So they get a contract, we say from March to November, and we guarantee them 75% of that time they'll have work. Nice. And they come and work that time, and when they're done, they go back to their home country. So that's something that's really taken off, I think, in this valley in the last 5 years. But lately, with the economy, things seem to be slowing down, and there's a lot of people looking for work. So we seem to have a much easier time finding labor these days than in the past. One of the things that we do that's a little unique is we have a fire background in that company, and with the fires in 2017 and 2020, wanting to do something, we have taken our crews, and in the wintertime, we do fuel reduction projects, so cutting brush and thinning brush. We've done a lot up on Pritchard Hill with the Pritchard Hill Fire Safe Council. We do a lot for private residences where we come in and do defensible space clearing and that sort of stuff. So it's a good way for us to keep guys working year round and doing something that benefits the whole community by making us all fire safe. So
absolutely. Yeah, what a great way to keep people going.
Yeah.
You have these very cyclical times in vineyards where you're busy and then when you're not. So
right.
Smart. Nice. So for those who may not know, Johnny and his dad, also Johnny, basically, and Davey and friends, saved Angwin during the 2020 fires by taking all of their private dozers out and cutting a huge line to prevent the fire from wrapping back around Angwin. So I didn't want to jump into fire department stuff so quick, but we might have to hear about it.
It just all intertwines. Everything is connected.
Tell us about 2020.
2020.
Yeah. And how Pina, how did you kind of shoot the gap between Pina Vineyard Management and then your role at the fire department, and how did those two benefit each other?
Right. I don't know. I'm probably going to go too deep on this, but I'm going deep.
We can always cut it out later.
Right. Good.
The extra will be for our Patreon members. So. And for Joe.
So in 2017 fires, Cyril Chapelet up at Chapelet Winery, he hired us, and we went in with our dozers and did a lot of work for him to protect his place. 2020 fire, the fires happened right there, Hennessy Ridge, very close to Chapelet. We took some equipment up there. We got started, and actually, my dad wanted to have some, quote, fun, and he got on a dozer and went down into the bottom of the canyon and was down in the bottom of the canyon. During that, with no cell service or anything, during that time, my mother calls me, and says, "Hey, there's a fire out behind our house in Pope Valley." Okay. So I go out to Pope Valley, and we're sitting there, watching this all take place, and we're okay, we're fine. And then the fire starts picking up and gets active, and there's no fire resources, right? You were there, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
The system was overwhelmed. There was not enough resources to go around. So we're out in Pope Valley watching all this go around. We're watching friends and neighbors, places get burned up. We started getting our equipment out there, water trucks, dozers out there. Made it through the first day. And I remember going home that night. The fire had calmed down, wasn't doing a lot, and just being upset, right? Being mad because just nothing was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were Pope Valley was on their own.
Yeah.
Anyways,
no one was coming.
No one was coming, right. The next day, the fire starts picking up and gaining again. By now, we had some of our dozers out there, some of our water trucks out there. The fire starts picking up pretty good. And we went into kind of the attack mode, started cutting line around it. Fire came, burned through my parents' ranch. We were able to save their property. It blew through us, and we chased it out to the front and saved neighbors' houses out in the front. We did lose my aunt's house that was a ridge over from us and some other houses. And so, it was pretty devastating, right? And so, but we're still sitting there, and the closest thing we've seen to a fire engine is a PG&E truck, right? And so we're on our own. It was the Dixons had a dozer and a water truck. It was us with 2 dozers and 2 water trucks, and Eckel had a dozer and a water truck. So our end of Pope Valley, that's what we had, and everyone did a lot of good work to save what we saved. And we go into another day, and that's when my dad was famous on national news. And
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, so you got to look up that clip someday. And he's on national news, and he says, "Cal Fire, step aside, the rednecks are taking over." So that's when we took, I think it was 8 dozers out there to Etna Springs. We unloaded at Rob Mondavi's vineyard, and we started cutting line. Because we knew if the fire got into Swartz Canyon, the fire was going straight to Angwin. Like we were this vineyard between the fire and Swartz Canyon, and if we didn't stop it, that's where it was headed. So we started cutting fire line, and obviously we farmed that vineyard, and so we knew the area well. That's as vineyard managers, we know our natural landscape and where we're at pretty well, and who the other neighbors are. And we started working on this and made a plan. And my dad called the command center and said, "Hey, we're doing this. You guys can come tell us what to do, or we're going to do it." That got their attention. Battalion chief came out, and they said, "Go for it." Nice. And eventually they actually emergency hired us, and we worked for them, and which was good because all we could do is get to a certain point of private property, and then we got to land trust property, right? And so we couldn't cross onto that property without permission. And once Cal Fire took over, we were able to go. So we actually cut fire line from Etna Springs and Pope Valley all the way to Oat Hill Mine Road in Middletown.
Damn.
And put a line in all the way around it. It was really cool. We had a lot of retired dozer operators, like Mark Dorman, who worked at Harold Smith for a long time. He was out there on the lead cat, leading the charge. And we had Paul Harrell, who ran equipment all of his life. He was there. Kervin Holtz, and then some of our own employees. But it was actually a lot of community members who wanted to help out, right? They wanted to participate. And so we ran dozer out there for 4 or 5 days, cutting in this line. So it was a cool accomplishment, something that everyone could feel good about at the end of the day, that we stopped the fire. And then, 2 months later, the fire came from the other direction and burned all the way into what we had stopped before. Perfect. So,
Well, that's like the strength of the community that we have. People all come together pretty quick for an emergency like this, and you've got so much talent here between farmers. That's why we're so passionate about volunteering and fire department stuff. Because those people, they know the people in the area and the gates and the fences and the property lines and the water and without
you guys
that,
are gonna know it way better than some fire crew coming in. Which bless them, thank you for coming. But from
somewhere else,
from LA or something.
You need that, so you combine approach, and that's why I think our volunteers are important. But anyway, well done, Johnny. That's pretty cool, and we'll include a link to your dad's CNN interview. So good. That was epic, man. Oh, nice. And then, okay, so one more question on the
Yeah.
fire department stuff, and then Hillary's itching to get to.
No, I'm
you're-
actively listening.
Okay, no, I know. So your day-to-day role in the St. Helena Fire Department, what's that like?
So I joined when I was 18, and so I've been there a little over 20 years, and I am a captain for St. Helena Fire Department, and yeah.
Sweet.
I don't know what else.
Yeah.
What else to tell you?
Do you have to do like shifts? You guys do shifts, or you do like just response when there's a call, you go in?
Right. So yeah, but back when I started, it was pay per call,
Mm-hmm.
and it was $10 per call for every call we went on, and it was just volunteer. So if you didn't show up, the engine didn't leave, and
Meemaw had
Yeah,
just stayed on the ground.
yeah, the house burned to the ground.
$10. Wow.
Yeah.
After taxes, what was that, like $6.50?
And we only got paid once a year too.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Back in the
Wow.
day. But $10 was kind of big time,
Yeah,
when you're
I
out
mean,
of high school and to
that point, that's
go on a
like
fire
two
call
Jimmy
and you get $10. Yeah,
You're the envy of all the Rutherford firefighters.
right. That was a sandwich at Cellars.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. So so it started out that way, and like that, I think was how my commitment to the fire department got really started. Was we were it, right? There was nobody else coming. Like, we were the city of St. Helena's fire department, and so it was a good group of guys. There was 30 of us, and we ran a lot of calls, and we had a lot of fun. It's kind of like a fraternity. Not kind of, it very much is a fraternity. There's a lot of hazing. There's a lot of fun times. There's a lot of fighting. There's, it's everything you would imagine. It just was it's something that was very special.
Yeah.
And it still is. It's just different now, right? Because back then we were a 1099 employee. So we were a contract employee of the city. And the city didn't have a lot of say over us. We provided an excellent service to them. We are now part-time employees of the city. Not that that's a bad thing. And it's just different. We have a full-time fire crew here now. So when we get a fire call, I don't have to go. Because there's 3 guys there that are going to take an engine on a call no matter what.
Which is good. That's exhausting.
It is.
It's just like you can only do so much. So and then that way it frees you guys up for the big stuff.
Right. And
Yeah.
so when there's a fire, then we can get a bunch of guys there, and so it's still good. And so like what you were saying is there's shifts. One shift every day is open to what they call part-time guys, which would be someone like me, someone that's not a career firefighter.
Cool.
And so I have an opportunity every day, at least one opportunity every day to pick up a shift. So that's how it works. And
Pina keeps you busy though.
Pina keeps me plenty busy.
And sticking people.
And
in the
then
mud.
when we're not so busy, I got cows to feed, and
Nice.
yeah.
All right.
Well,
I got a good one.
okay, yeah, you do yours.
This is Thursday, January 25th at 5:40 in the afternoon. Medical aid for a fall victim near Money and Adams. The person hadn't tripped; they had just fallen getting out of the vehicle. Good clarification.
What is the difference?
They wanted them to know, apparently.
I got a good one.
Okay.
Saturday, January 12th, 1807. Report of a person possibly under the influence near Oak and Tanner. They were reportedly walking in the middle of the road, flipping off cars, and not moving out of the roadway. Police arrested a 31-year-old Napa woman on suspicion of public intoxication and violating probation.
Oh,
Love it.
What a gem.
what a place to be.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just right by Goose.
Just going for it.
I can appreciate that.
Here's a good one. Wednesday, January 24th, 12:15. An Allen Avenue resident said an unwelcome person might come to her home, so she wanted information in case they showed up. Cool. Thanks.
Can't you have the police come on standby?
I don't think they
I
have
hardly
people
doubt
to do
that.
that. No.
Yeah.
No? Oh.
Probably not, Hillary.
I mean,
I mean, not like on standby all day.
Do you want,
but I
do you
mean,
want someone armed in your house? Just ready to,
It's
ready
really,
to protect you?
Really
I mean,
hostile.
I feel like that'd be a pretty big inconvenience for the police department.
But
It's
I
like,
mean, can't you say like,
Hillary called again. She'd like a standby just in case Chris shows up.
just in case there's someone that might show up.
I heard he was at Anna's and he may want to come over.
He's gonna be walking down the road. He's been flipping off cars all day.
I didn't mean all day. I meant like, can't you request, be like, I'm going into this hostile environment. Can you guys just be there while
Perhaps,
I go
I
in to
don't
get
know.
my box or something?
We should have asked the chief, Chris Hartley, when we had our
Yeah,
last
like have you
podcast
heard of
with
like
him.
nasty breakups where they like show up with the cops to get their stuff?
Probably.
I feel like that's a thing.
You might owe
I
him.
mean, Chris and I wouldn't know. But, I mean,
Chris just locks his doors and puts on his headphones and ignores anyone at his door.
Yeah, I go get the accordion man and put it out. Oh my gosh, that's good.
I've got a lady who wanted to be a gardener. It says, report of a woman at Lyman Park making a mess, taking a rake from somebody, and pulling trees and plants from the dirt.
You know what I think this was? In this economy, we've had to cut corners, right? But she still wants to have a really beautiful yard and like present herself well to the community. So she was borrowing the plants that she probably bought with her taxes that the city paid for to move to her grass.
She was the intoxicated lady on probation. That's 100%.
I
who it
liked
was.
my need for flowers.
I love how
better.
Hillary always has the positive outlook on everything, and I always have the 100%
I mean,
negative.
I don't know if stealing from the city is positive, but I was just trying to give an explanation.
Whatever, fair enough.
I try to think of, if I was in this scenario, why would I be doing it?
I think you'll have to run that down a
I
lot.
think there might be some mental health issues that you gotta contend with.
Oh, man. All right, let's go with the Bevan.
Yes.
Tell us about developing Sentinel Ridge.
All right. Yeah.
This is awesome.
Sentinel Ridge is up as locals would know it as Cayuga Pass up in England, which
Julius Cayuga.
I would have never known it was called Sentinel Hill, but apparently it's called Sentinel Hill.
Is it
Yeah.
Sentinel, like a Sentinel event when someone dies?
No, like a guard. Sentinel.
Yes, Sentinel.
Oh.
Guard Hill.
My bad.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's okay. Stop getting it's so morbid.
I'm sorry. Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
But I had a really neat guy, Scott Alstrom, that bought this piece of property up there in England, and he hired us to develop it into a vineyard, and he built a house up there. This vineyard was solid rock. You were just scratching rock and breaking rock up there on Howell Mountain. It was very difficult to develop, and it's only an acre and a half.
Damn.
But Scott's vision was and is to produce the best wine that he can, and he wanted, to make sure that we did everything we could to do that. This wine has scored in the high 90s several times. We're chasing that elusive 100-point score.
Yep.
Russell Bevans makes the wine. If you've met Russell, he's a bigger than life kind of winemaker.
We've had him on this podcast.
We heard all about
His first
Probably
romantic
first-
moment
yeah,
with
yeah.
his wife.
1342. Oh man.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, working with Russell and Scott on this project, and I just wanted to bring something
Nice.
that kind of I was proud of. It's a really cool vineyard, and just something where someone their whole goal going into this was to produce the best bottle of wine that they could.
Nice.
So
Yeah, it's a beautiful
So
wine.
smooth.
That's the classic Russell, like rounded, polished, powerful. Yeah, big guy, just like
His-
Russell's
Him
personality.
as a person.
yeah.
I was gonna say, as you described that, I was just picturing him.
I wouldn't say Russell's polished, but
No, very
He's-
much.
His cars might be.
he is smooth,
Yes.
very smooth,
Very
Yes.
smooth, very smooth.
very smooth. But yeah, funny guy, man. We laughed really hard for that podcast.
I would like to hear about the cattle.
All right. hear about the cattle.
Tell us about where the cattle go, how much cattle, how many cute babies there are. The important things.
Will do.
Where can we eat the cattle?
Okay. So the cattle started out, I think 2020 is when we started with the cattle. My family's had cattle. We're 6th generation Napa County farmers and ranchers.
Damn, 6?
Yeah, 6th generation. My grandparents had cattle. My dad had cattle a little bit, but as he told me, and I have learned very quickly, is he's never met a rich cattleman. So it just was not something that he pursued, but it was something that I grew up with on my grandparents' ranch that I really took to and I really enjoyed, was being around the cattle and kind of pursuing that. And another thing that came out of the fires in 2017 and 2020 was people wanting to have their properties grazed for fire protection. Mm-hmm. And so I started getting people offering up fenced property to put cattle in. It wasn't something that after high school, I went to the Petaluma livestock auction and I bought 5 or 6 steers and took them over to Silverado Trail and put them in on a fenced pasture. And my big plan was I was going to buy these 500-pound steers and have them eat grass all summer and sell them at the end of the year. It didn't really work out that way. I'm not even sure if I broke even. I definitely had my dad call me one morning and say, "Hey, I'm listening to KGO," which is
old school.
The old school news station that all the farmers listen to every morning. It says they're doing their traffic advisory about cattle on the road at Silverado Trail and 128.
No.
That's where my cattle were. So I jumped in my pickup. I'm pretty sure I was barefoot and wearing shorts and a t-shirt. And, this is like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I run down there and they're CHP with their lights on. And they're herding the cows down the Silverado Trail, and the cows are like running into fences and everything, And I, come up and say, hey, these are my cattle. Like, I got it from here. Like, I'll get them back in. To which then they wanted my driver's license. I said, well, I don't have my driver's license. I heard it on KGO radio.
My shoes right now.
Like,
my shoes are bad.
So it was quite the experience. It took me a couple weeks to catch them.
Weeks?
Yeah. I mean, I got them back into the hill, but then to catch them, to haul them back to sale, to get rid of them, it took a couple weeks. Jeez. So cattle wasn't something I was really pursuing after that experience. And when the opportunity came along, I thought, let's give it a shot again. So we started out, we bought 10 cows with calves, and started our little operation. And if you know about cattle, it's a commodity like any other agricultural product. And if you try to play the commodity game, you're never going to make a living. It'd be like selling wine in Lodi. It's much more difficult than selling wine in Napa Valley, right? So our whole idea was to go direct to consumer. And, so we started playing around with that. And my wife, Kendall, she came up with the idea of Akaushi, which is Japanese brown Wagyu. It's different than a Wagyu. A Wagyu is like a black cow, in my opinion, looks like a water buffalo. They don't look like a cow to me. Where the Akaushi looks like a cow. It's brown. The foundation herd is based out of Texas, and Sunshine sells the meat, Akaushi meat, and so she had been buying that. And at first, it was like, a steak's a steak. I don't see the difference. And when we started having that, we've kind of become snobs. I still like a good prime Costco steak, but nothing beats the Akaushi ribeye. Yep. Just the taste is different. The fat has a lower melting temperature. The flavors milder, and it's just a really good product. So that's what we're working toward now is we've introduced the Akaushi genetics into our herd. So we're Angus base cows, and we have Akaushi bulls. We
Nice.
bought one out of Texas, and also bought another bull from Wyoming, and they're both here. And so this year is our first year of Akaushi calves. What we AI'd 2 years ago, so I do have 3 Akaushi steers that we will harvest this summer, and that'll be our first Akaushi. And then this year we've got 21 Akaushi calves that
Nice.
were born September, October, November. So they'll be ready in 2 years. So it's a lot like the wine business, right? It takes 2 years. So right now, the cows that I'm breeding right now, they won't calve for 9 months. So they'll calve next September, and then it'll take me 2 years to feed out those calves to be ready for your dinner plate.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
when
so it's a
you-
3-year process.
You
so-
went
Yeah.
and got them. Did they deliver it, or did you have to go get them from Texas?
They delivered. I paid
That's
to have them
included in the
delivered.
price. Do you have
No.
to pay like a car insurance? Like to
You
pay-
can.
You know what I
You
mean?
can.
If like the truck gets hit on the freeway.
You can, but I like to gamble, and I
Worked
put my
out.
trust in the cat and they call them the bull haulers.
So they have a bunch of them in there.
Right, they have a bunch. Actually, mine came up with a guy who bought some in Dixon, and so
You could split the price.
Right.
The delivery fee.
so they came up. They delivered some.
important
Yeah,
questions,
it
Christopher.
is.
You could hire Hillary to ride them from Dixon over here.
They came up. They stopped in New
Absolutely.
Mexico, dropped off some bulls, Arizona, like Southern California, and they came all the way up to
the
Dixon.
bull train.
What if
And
that's kind of a fun profession.
I would try it.
I would-
If I was 20 years younger and looking for something to do, I would give it a shot.
Johnny was an entrepreneur in high school, man. Look at him.
Yeah. It's something different. So now we've been selling our beef at Charlie's here in St. Helena. So that's been really fun. Elliot really wants the Akaushi, so it just takes a long time to ramp up to that. So he's been using the Angus for now, and we'll start bringing the Akaushi in to there. And then we've also started selling to people, that want to buy beef. So
Really? How's that
Did you
work?
buy a whole cow, half a cow?
yeah, so we're selling whole and half cows. We'll probably do quarters, just because it's difficult, I think, for some people to figure out enough space to put a
I
whole
was just
cow.
thinking I would love to buy a cow, but
Right.
That's amazing. So
I don't
like,
think it's gonna fit in the freezer with
but like
ice
a quarter
cream.
cow, like you could
Right.
share that with your friends.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
family. It's
yeah,
amazing.
for sure.
And the price is
Do
probably.
you want to go in on a quarter cow?
I'll do it right now.
I'm down.
All
I
right,
just
well-
need to get a chest freezer.
There you go.
So what's that look like? You just here's the price for quarter cow. You guys like do all the butchering.
Yeah,
and
so we
everything?
do everything. We grain feed because I'm not a fan of grass-fed beef. I like grain-fed, the taste of it much better. So we grain feed everything. There is a mobile harvesting unit that's USDA inspected.
Nice.
So everything we do is USDA inspected because we're selling into a restaurant. So we go over to Petaluma to the USDA harvest facility. They harvest our steers. Then from there we go to Lepi Meats in Santa Rosa, which is also USDA inspected. They'll dry age and then they'll cut and wrap to our specifications. Yeah.
Wow.
And
So you can get it just delivered, wrapped,
Yep.
dried, ready to
it's
go.
ready to go,
And then
frozen.
freeze what you need. Yep.
Yeah.
Or
So-
keep it frozen.
It's pretty cool. We're just getting into this, the hard part, the marketing part,
Yeah.
the selling part of the business.
Well, people want local.
For sure.
Like that's what people want, man.
For sure.
Like, that's it. And
But
like
it's a
to be in
lot-
restaurants, like that's huge.
Yeah, it's a lot easier though for people to buy steaks, right? It's easier for them to say, "I want ribeyes" or "I want a chuck roast," or
Then I want a whole cow.
right. Then I want, so that's a lot more difficult for me, right? Is because then
Yeah.
if I start selling it by the cut, then everyone wants ribeyes, right? And New York's, and then I have all this ground beef that I got to move, right? And so I think we're gonna have to go that way eventually. But for now, I'm trying to move it in bigger chunk, quarter, half, whole.
Yeah.
You could do like, you know how influencers maybe not sell like.
I would need
Johnny doesn't know.
to know an influencer first.
Okay, so sometimes like this one influencer I follow, she sells pajamas.
Okay.
But there's a
This is
set.
going to be very, very convenient for your beef problem.
Yes.
My point is, there's a set. I mean, you could say something. There's a set amount of pajamas. Okay, let's say there's a small top, small bottom, 2 mediums, 2 bottoms. But like once it's gone, it's gone.
Right.
So what if you just put up a cow and said, okay, there's 2 of this, 1 of this, 1 of this, and then you know what I mean?
You're
Like first come,
you're
first
on the
served.
right track.
But see, everyone wants, in this case, everyone
Well,
wants
once
the
it's
small
gone, it's
pajama
gone.
bottoms.
But
Which
once
is
it's gone,
the
it's gone,
ribeye.
and then people will want it so bad because it's so cool. They'll go for that ground beef because then they can.
Because
They
they
No,
can
for
taste
sure,
it.
and people do that. It's just more time than I'm willing to give. Right.
You
now.
need an intern.
Yeah, or
Okay.
my wife, or somebody. Somebody has to take on this part. This is not the part I like.
Well, there's there's websites, there's all this
Right.
stuff that ordering and delivering and shipping. And
I liked my pajama theory.
I mean, that's valid.
And then sometimes I also question it, this last week or November when it's raining and, it's 10 inches in 3 days, I think is what we got. And it's 50 degrees and the wind's blowing 30 miles an hour and those cattle need to get fed, every day. And the steers I feed twice a day because I'm trying to put weight on them and, give them a lot of corn and get some healthy protein.
Yeah.
And you're
So what's
out
a
there.
day in Johnny's life like? Run us through a quick
Yeah, what
day.
time are you waking up?
Yeah,
in the
because I
morning?
think you're way earlier than I am. I felt a little lazy.
This time of year is my slow time, so this is nice. I'm up before 5 at the office about 5:30.
Damn.
5:30, 6 o'clock, somewhere in there. Get things going at the office, and then about 7 o'clock I go feed steers, and then doing vineyard management stuff most of the day until the afternoon, and then I go feed cows and feed steers and
Damn.
do farm bureau stuff or fire department stuff and everything else in between. But it's kind of what it is. Get home about 5 o'clock
Cool.
in the evening.
Rescue people that got in their truck stuck in the mud.
Yeah, that's.
Are you speaking from experience?
When the rescuer becomes a rescuee, and then Johnny shows up, you know you're good. That's a whole nother story. But if I'm not going to put that out as another skill because then you'll get more phone calls. But yeah, highly recommended. 5 stars.
You'd be surprised. We do more vehicle recovery than you would imagine. The things that a vineyard manager does,
It's a wide breadth.
It's very wide.
It's wide, yeah.
We've buried quite a few horses.
Buried horses.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just kind of like guys with equipment and I guess know-how. Like you would never believe it, but I think I've buried 6 horses in my career at Peanut Vineyard Management.
Well, yeah, I guess because you can't cremate them.
Right. I mean, people.
Is there bereavement support with that? Is that me? No, that's not me. Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah, the guy running the backhoe, which has been me, that's the bereavement support. And you can imagine I'm not super supportive, so it's not a good fit. But
Supportive of the horse funerals or supportive of.
the entire process in general. But yeah, burying horses, recovering vehicles.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really well done.
We did a Rivian this summer and did a new Ford Bronco this winter.
So someone had a login here about delivering a baby. Do you guys have that one?
I don't.
don't.
But let's hear it.
Oh, well, I don't
You don't have it.
have it. I read it somewhere.
Let's see here. We do have.
If you guys were talking, neither of you have had to deliver a baby on the fire department.
No.
No, thank God.
No.
This baby was delivered on Pope Street in the
Really?
log somewhere. That's what it says.
Our company delivered a baby in a helicopter
Nice.
in Alaska, but I wasn't on that mission. But that's what it's happened. But yeah, no, I I think I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I think I'm happy to say no.
Do you guys have like a training on kind of what to do?
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
Things.
I mean, with the whole delivery.
Sure.
We definitely do. Our fire engine has a stork on it, and that means that it's delivered a baby before.
Cool.
I haven't. I mean, actually, I've delivered
Your own kid.
my own kids.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Henry is very big on that.
Dr.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Oh,
How many kids? Because you have three.
I have three.
Three
Yeah,
kids. Yeah.
3 kids.
he's amazing.
Yeah. So, what are your hopes for your kids as as they get older? Do you want them? Do you think they'll be interested in farming, in cattling, in fire department? What do you think? Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I hope that I show them my passion for agriculture, and that if that sticks and they want to do that, great. My middle son, Coulter, I guarantee you that he is going to do everything that I do.
Nice. He loves it. Let's hang out.
He hates school. He wants to go to work with me every day.
Yeah.
All he talks about are the peanut trucks and the tractors and all that. He either wants to be running the trucks and tractors, or he wants to be doing cowboy stuff. I think his biggest passion is the cattle and doing that. Jackson, he helps me a lot with the cattle. He likes going to work, but I could see him doing something else, too. But I mean, he may want to do it. He may not want to do it. That's kind of their own decision. He's kind of into military right now.
Really? Oh my God! I'm sorry.
I'm supportive of. I'm like, look at Chris. Like, go for it, man.
We'll get a helicopter out here someday to check it out.
So it's super cool to see how different all your kids are. Right? Mm-hmm. They're all your kids, but they're all so different. And Jackson, my oldest, and then Everly's my youngest. They both just love school and excel. Right? Especially Everly just excels at school. And, just looks forward to it every day. Cool. And Coulter can't stand it. Doesn't want to be near it, just anything he could do to not go to school. Yeah. And so they're all have their own little passion, their own hobbies, but they all like going out to the cows, and it's something that I grew up getting to do, and I like that they're able to go do it.
So they do FF, they're not old enough yet for FFA.
So
probably,
Jackson, this will be his first year. He just turned 9 in April, so he will be doing 4-H this next year. Cool. So he's super excited. He wants to do a steer. We have a steer that we raised that he has picked out. We're just deciding if we want to do that or sheep, just because steer's a big project to start on your first year. But so he's super excited about that and wants to do it. Especially since it's a steer that was born, on the ranch with us, and so
that's pretty cool.
Do you have to help with delivery, or do they kind of do it on their own?
When everything goes right, they do it on their own. And this year, knock on wood, I didn't pull a single calf. But it was 2 years ago, I think it was. I had a heifer. It was the night of the FFA rib feed, and I was auctioneer for that night. And I was dressed at the event, and one of my guys was working nearby and saw this heifer that was trying to have a calf, and she was having problems. And so he called me, and it can't wait, right? I need to go. So
do you have the long gloves?
No.
Oh.
I just go in bare.
Because don't they make the long plastic?
They do. That's far more professional than this enterprise. So I
step away, Calvin. The redneck's got it.
Yeah. I show up there, get her in the chute, and pull on this calf, and we can't pull this calf. We're having such a hard time. Calf won't go. I don't have a come along with me, So it sounds very crude, but if you've seen childbirth in the hospital, there's also very crude methods to pull a baby.
Forceps, vacuum.
Yeah. So with a cow, you wrap a chain around their front legs and right at their joint, and they're very strong, and then you take a come along and you kind of pop them out. I didn't have a come along. I mean, I'm supposed to be auctioneering at this event, right? So
I love that that's what it's called too. A come along.
yeah, it's come along.
Here, come along. Let's
What
go.
we did have was a mini excavator, though. Yes.
You get a lot of use out of these excavators.
Yes, they're multifaceted. I could do a commercial for Caterpillar on all the ways to use a mini excavator, from birth to grave and everything in between. So yeah, I pulled the calf out with using the hydraulics of the excavator. Calf lived. Calf was good. Mom was good. I had to run home, change my shirt, and kind of wash my arms that were covered in, afterbirth and everything else, and made it back to the rib feed in time to auctioneer for them. And so
It's impressive. You made it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, it's just like, I think I'd be bored if I didn't, have like that stuff. Like, even though at the time you're like, God, this sucks, but
Make it happen.
yeah, if you start thinking about it, there's so many stories like that, so many different experiences that I think shape the person you are and everything else.
Well, I'm glad you made it because no one can rally a crowd like you can for the rib feeds, man. Those are good. So.
Does anyone have a log to close us
Oh,
out?
let's see. I mean, this is a good one. Wait, have you ever been wrongfully accused of being drunk, Hillary?
Probably.
On maybe this was you on
think when
Wednesday.
I've been accused, but it probably wasn't wrongfully.
When I'm really tired, I probably seem intoxicated.
On the 24th of January, Wednesday, 23:39, so 11:30 at night. Report of an intoxicated person walking on Mitchell Drive. Curious. Police contacted the person who was not intoxicated after all.
I mean, couldn't you see me on like my AirPods walking Wally, like kind of in my own little
I'd
world?
consider it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yep, here's Hill again.
Yeah.
I think someone was trying to make some lemon meringue pie because on Friday, January 12th at 10 a.m., 2 people were spotted on camera coming into someone's property on Allen Avenue and harvesting lemons.
Oh.
Insanely the crime of the year.
Yes. Right after the barking dog.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Well, we learned where to get the meat.
Yes.
Charlie's.
Charlie's, but is there also
Charlie's.
like Napa Valley Livestock,
Instagram.
Instagram, Napa Valley
We
Livestock?
have we're on the gram.
Ooh,
that is the
big time.
big technology, social media that we are.
If we're dropping into DMs, are we talking to Kendall or are we talking to Johnny?
You're surprisingly talking to me.
Wow.
I don't have any social media, but when we started this cattle business, I had my wife help me set up an Instagram page. We both have access to it, so just keep that in mind when you're sliding into my DMs. But the whole cattle business is based off of Instagram, Napa Valley Land and Livestock.
That's it.
Love it.
Awesome. And so that's where you'll go right now
Yep.
to buy a quarter
Yep.
or half of the
Yep.
cows. Okay, good. Until we get the DTC system set up.
Yes.
With
yes. When we get, I'm gonna hire Hillary, and she's gonna help me put packages together.
Pajamas and a ribeye.
Okay,
there
those
we go.
pajamas sell out in like 30 minutes.
What about scrubs and ribeyes?
I mean,
Scrubs
scrubs
and
right now,
sausage?
Fig Scrubs, they are doing it right.
Right?
I'm serious, they also sell out, they're huge. Veterinarians wear scrubs.
Yeah.
So it's a
amazing.
thing. They sell all the accessories. I mean, I'm currently wearing Fig Scrubs, Fig's compression socks. I have a Fig's probably scrub cap in my bag.
It's like a walking,
I have a walking
influencer
billboard.
for them.
They're
Good.
25% off right now, which this will release after, so that point is mute. But
It's amazing. And then if someone wants vineyard management services,
Yes.
Pena Vineyard Management.
Vineyard management.
Yep.
We're your one stop for everything you need.
Auctioneering services?
Auctioneering
Just a
services.
direct phone call to you.
Yep, direct
Got it.
phone call.
Okay.
I'm easy to find.
That's epic, man. Well, Johnny, thanks. This has been really fun. There's zero editing required. This is awesome. And thanks for coming on, and thanks for pulling me out of the mud the other day.
Yep.
Got some wine for you. Also, a quick shout out to our producer for tonight, Anders Nielsen.
woo woo.
Yo.
Okay.
He's helping us out. And yeah, this was fun.
And lots
I'm the
more.
one that provided the ringtone. Sorry.
Lots more to come this year.
More to come. So take it. Thanks,
Yay.
Johnny.
Cheers. Yay.
Cheers.
your evening and be safe.